a funny test that I've got to test to ascertain and factorize which is my accent. Do I really speak with a Canadian accent? I find it sound more like a Utahn accent because I spent some time in Utah as a Mormon, training to be a missionary. This was back in 2001, and I did serve a mission for at least 3 months. But I met an interesting person actually, who gave me some contrary information about Mormonism. So about Mormonism, but Utah is a beautiful state, and when I'm playing the game Last of Us, I'm like when the final city is Salt Lake City, you get to see the temple and stuff, and wow, um, brings back the memories. I wouldn't, if I lived in America, I actually wouldn't mind living in Utah. It's very beautiful. The mountains very mountainous, and who cares if I'm not a Mormon anymore? I'm more than happy to coexist with them in an American city, of course. At the time when Salt Lake City was founded, and the Deseret was a collection of Mormon towns and settlements in the valley. It's called Salt Lake. It's called the Happy Valley by us ex-Mormons and us Mormons. But here's a funny thing I'm gonna play. It's called the 1993 World Series Coke commercial. This is I remember. I remember the batter Kelly Gruber sliding on his chin. He cut his chin up pretty bad, but he didn't have to slide though. But it's better. He sort of looks like Woody Harrelson in when Woody Harrelson had like long gangly hair and stuff. Hamish, I guess, a Kurt Cobain Hamish kind of character. But Kelly Gruber, he slid on his chin. He got a road rash, or I guess slide rash or home run rash. He didn't have to slide, and but nevertheless he scored. So that's just, he suffered some kind of a bone. One of his bones was unset properly in his leg when he injured himself, or something like that, and his career was retired. But nevertheless, he's a World Series champion, and this is in 1992, and I remember all of Canada. I lived in Edmonton. I was at Riverbend Junior High, and I in southern South Edmonton in the Riverbend neighborhood, and everybody was pretty much wearing Toronto Blue Jays stuff and stuff like that. And they won 2 in a row because of Joe Carter, and because of a good playing too. So, as the song suggested, some of the players were Canadian. Most of the players were American. Since then, I don't think there's only one team in Canada for baseball. It's the Blue Jays. The Montreal Expos have folded. They played out of the Olympic Stadium, and hopefully one day they'll get their team back again. One team, or maybe it's like not many really populated Canadian cities, and we're pretty much in the south, all towards the border. What's it called? The Hunger Games book describes Canada as the wilds, and it's very, but nevertheless, still, Canada's a good place to live. Like I said, I would like to explore America some more. I've gone to Utah State, and it's very beautiful. So I'm wondering if I have a Utah accent, or a Canadian accent, or just a dopey accent. I don't know. You guys probably know that probably know this more through can probably guess where I'm from or wherever, or what kind of accents I have. I don't speak much to people too. I keep to myself. I'm a pretty shy guy. So here's the question number 14 out of 25 here. What do you call something that is across both streets from you at an intersection, or diagonal across from you in general? As oh, across the street or something? I don't know. A kitty corner, huh? What? How do you pronounce caramel? Caramel. Caramel. With three syllable caramel. Other. I pronounce it caramel. What do you call the thing from which you might drink water in school? A water fountain? Drinking fountain sometimes. What do you call the large wild native cat in the Americas? Cougar. The Mount Royal College team has mountain lions and cougars are pretty much interchangeable, but we call them cougars up here. What do you call a large motor vehicle used to carry freight? A truck? It can also be a pickup truck too. You know, you hitch on a trailer. My uncle's left me a Ricer or Nissan trailer. Some of it's rusted at the bottom, so I'm gonna have to find some kind of patch up or weld up or just throw a board over it. I intend to use that for whenever I'm going to volunteer again for my homeless builds. That I could be one of those guys that have the one of those useful guys that goes to the store, runs back and forth in the store, brings the supplies here and there. And we were building a Habitat for Humanity condo housing, courtesy of the Aga Khan, or was it a Muslim group. Some Caucasians were allowed in there as well, but it's mostly for Muslim families. But some Caucasian families were given a home. It's overlooking the Deerfoot along 16th Ave entrance into Forest Lawn, or was it McKnight Boulevard, and it's called the Mayfair project. So. And it's really good. Well, it's really good. Not new housing too. I remember also building the soccer fields across the bridge there. In the Mayfair area. But this was a company through Summer Temping. So, how do you pronounce aunt? Does it sound like aunt with the vowel and a aunt, auntie. Yeah. We pronounce it auntie. How do you pronounce the words Mary, and Mary? Mary, and Mary. Huh. How do you call the long sandwich that contains cold cut slices and so on? BLT? Long sandwich. A hoagie. Yeah. I don't eat one of those. I don't eat those. I just eat the meatball subs. What do you call it when rain falls and sun is shining? Oh, okay. Those beans were liquid sun pera. I actually don't have it. I know what it's called. I know what you're referring to. How do you pronounce bean? Bean? C. What do you call some grass in the middle of some streets? A boulevard or a median? Maybe a median. How do you pronounce cat and cot at the same time? Cot and ot. Yeah. I am. Oh, goody! I am from New York. Cot. Buffalo, New York. I'm not sure what state that is. I think it's Michigan. This one and that one there. Oh, some states in America along these areas up here want to join, especially over there, want to join Canada. Why don't we take them in? I know. These it's really hard it's easier for the Canadian side to supply these small townships. It's really hard for the American side. So therefore, it's just common sense to let them into our country. Also, I believe Detroit is here somewhere. I could be wrong. Windsor, Detroit, they used to belong to Canada, actually. Detroit is a beautiful city. Before it imploded, it was had beautiful techno buildings, had beautiful old 1800s buildings and stuff, and those brick buildings too, those factories and stuff. When they didn't ruin, Um, they were brown. They were brownstone. They were redstone. The bricks, and those are classical buildings too. We should keep some classical buildings. Some of them we can demolish for new stuff, but we should at least keep some old stuff. Renovate them, have them. It's becoming very trendy to renovate new buildings to gentrification, and just to remember what it was like to live in those old brick buildings and stuff. In Calgary, there's a new office building called the Bow Center, Bow Plaza or whatever. It looks like a U moon shape, like if you cut off a bit of celery and have this kind of a big stocky kind of U shape. And in front of it, it's in front of the Canadian Royal Canadian Legion Hall, the number one, the downtown one, and there was two hotels attached to it. I remember seeing it because there was this elderly Aboriginal man, and he was quite inebriated. Hello, hello. Oh, sorry. Quite the little mic button is not coming up. He was pretty much inebriated. And everyone's pretty much ignoring him because you don't really help old drunks. People don't want to really help old drunks and stuff. So I I helped him back to his apartment, which was still operational back in around maybe 2008 ish. Um, so I'm thinking that they should at least keep that building open for homeless shelter or something, or some kind of elderly shelter. This was back in the 1930s and stuff, when pretty much everything was pretty much boxcard, CN rails coming in and stuff like that, CP rails coming in, CN rail, and you needed to rest a bit to be a transient worker. China has a lot of this. People go where the work is, right? And that's the reason why Chinese people came to America. The work was here, to build the railroads, to work in the mines and stuff. And the work's dangerous. I mean, it's not just because they're Chinese. It's because the work's dangerous for white guys too. Uh, in BC, for example, they tell us to not use our radios deep in the mountains, because sometimes they're blasting mining, or they're building some kind of a freeway in, or some kind of road in, or some kind of thing. And they're quarrying. You need these stones to build. You need stones to build materials. Um, I still don't see why they can't just grind up old, instead of just dumping all cement and limestones everywhere. They should grind it up. For example, the mines of South Africa is pretty much hardened volcanic ash chalk stone or something. They can use that for cement. You can not just for gold, but you can double your profits. You can use that for gardening, quarrying. Pretty much all of ancient Hong Kong buildings were actually built with the old pickaxe quarry stones. Um, and I can imagine that you're playing Railroad Tycoon. That's probably what it was. I was able to run a train line from here to there and just to Buffalo, but that's about it. Other than that, it's pretty damn expensive to run the lines through. It's pretty much a Raiden steel. Where else am I from? Oh, wow. I'm from Philadelphia, Buffalo, and Rochester. I'm mostly in the tri-state area. Oh man, I was hoping because I was living up here in countryish Alberta, rural Alberta, and I'm very much over here. Oh no, wait, I'm also Californian too. I wouldn't mind to visit California. I wouldn't like try to live in the big cities or anything, but